Okay,
The mic's on?
it should be.
And it's not lighting up. Maybe it needs a new battery. But I'm getting a feedback. There's 3 mics on.
So,
The only other thing we can do is I run it through SPC and use my headphones. Sometimes there's headphones over there so you can hear what the Zoom people hear.
okay.
But I don't see any right now. Do you have any headphones with you?
No.
Can you switch the sound to this microphone? Right now the sound is. Let Katy say. Switch the sound.
Okay.
Going to.
Okay. I'll.
Thank you.
If you just go to this,
Can you help me?
just go to this microphone. See that little arrow right there?
Yeah.
And choose. You're gonna choose kind of different.
Okay, Tech and Max. What are you having problems?
We just need to connect her headset. Here.
Is it to connect? Bluetooth?
it showing up now?
Can everyone hear me? Yeah. So you need to mute that one.
Yep.
Okay. Hi everyone. Not mute. Are you muted? Can you? Are you off? Nope. And now? Perfect. Okay, great. Poor Isabella. Isabella's rite of passage. Okay. All right, everyone. So I'm looking sideways here, but I need to look at the camera, right? Okay. Good morning, everybody. There's what? What? We good? So where's that camera pointed?
Look
at me? Okay, good. All right. So good morning, everybody. Welcome. We have a few people here in person and a number of people online. And so the plan was to do the first half of the session as the Tai Chi Chair practice, the second half, and then have a little bio break. And then the second half of the practice will be meditation. So it'll be more traditional. But this morning is, I would like to share my document. Okay. So this intro packet was put together by one of my Tai Chi Chuan teachers, Linda Prochet. She's also a yoga teacher. So she very kindly allowed me to share it with you guys. But it's an extremely helpful packet. It lets you know kind of what Tai Chi Chuan is all about. So just a little bit about me. I have been associated with Land and Medicine Buddhist since about 2004. So when I first came to the United States, I worked for Venerable up in San Francisco at the Liberation Prison Project, and it was a very stressful project to work for. So she would recommend that I come down here and rent out room 9 because it had a bath in it. So that's what I did. I would come down here on weekends, and there was an acupuncturist in town called Charlie Savoca. And so I'll go to Charlie and have acupuncture and get myself all sorted out. And then I go back up into the city where I'll get all stressed out again. Anyway, and then over the years, I've been working at Lama Zopa Rinpoche's house doing water bowls and satsars and all kinds of things there. Until eventually 2019, I was trekking down from Laudo Gompa. So that's Lama Zopa Rinpoche's previous incarnations, or now it's going to be previous incarnations home, cave, and my knee went completely collapsed. And I'm halfway between Lukla, which is like a day's walk away, and way back up the hill to Namche Bazaar, which was about another 2 hours going back up. And I was kind of stuck. I didn't know really what to do. I was at the viewing spot where you see Mount Everest. And so I'm really thinking, what can I do? So I decided to stretch out my calf. And I'm like, oh, okay. And that worked. That got me together enough to get back down. But what I did was at that point, I made a determination that when I got back to the US, I got back to California, I was going to start yoga again. So I did yoga as a younger person for many years. And I found it very beneficial. But as soon as I got here to the US, we got so busy, I didn't have time for yoga. Yoga was difficult in robes. I didn't know how it was going to work at the yoga studio. So I just kind of dropped it. But I had some injuries through not exercising, sitting at a desk, lifting heavy water bowls. I was not taking care of myself. And so I eventually moved up to Marin, where I have an elderly friend up there, Amila Judith, who's now 91. And I started doing yoga again. And my back was a little bit of a mess. I'd be waking up in the morning kind of crawling on the ground and because I was in pain. So I was recommended a chiropractor, and I couldn't get into her for 3 months. So I don't know what to do. So my yoga teacher was also teaching this Tai Chi Chuan. So I decided to try that. And I was surprised at how it impacted the pain. It really made me feel a lot better. So I was curious because it's very, very simple. And I wondered, but was just curious about how just moving energy around could impact my body to that extent. Of course, I've had to do a lot of swimming and yoga and things to get myself back together again. But I've also been exploring this idea of the fascia, which is this very thin, I don't know if any of you have heard of it. It's the kind of the latest thing they're talking about. You know, when you skin a chicken, if any of you remember skinning, when you prepare a chicken before you put it in the oven, and there's this very thin layer, or even on a chicken's egg, there's a very thin layer between the eggshell and the actual egg. Well, in our body, we have something similar. They call it fascia. And it is an organ just as important as our heart and our lungs and our kidneys. It's basically holding everything together. But as you get older, the fascia kind of gets stiffer. And we need to keep it loose so we can keep moving. And I also teach meditation, and I sub for my teacher at the YMCA in Marin. And the population up there are elderly, but they're all walking into the Marin YMCA every day with their walkers and their sticks. And sometimes they're in wheelchairs, and it's very, very touching to see people trying to keep their bodies moving. And I don't think it's an effort to stay young. They are keeping themselves moving. So I wanted to start the session today with this, so you would get an idea of movement as being very, very important. It's important for our brain, it's important for our organs, our blood, and our energy. So we'll start with there. So I just wanted to start here. So what is Tai Chi Chi? So you can't appease the appetite by reading the menu. To experience Tai Chi Chuan, you must do it. So we are going to do it today. So Tai Chi Chuan means supreme ultimate knowledge, which sounds kind of lofty, but that's just. So I do want to tell you a little bit about Justin Stone before we start. Justin Stone was kind of an extraordinary, brilliant man. He taught at Albuquerque University in, of course, Albuquerque, New Mexico. And he taught Tai Chi Chuan, which is the traditional martial art that everybody knows Tai Chi as. And it has 108 movements, and it takes 2 years to learn. And he found that his students would come along for the first few sessions and they would just drop out. It was too difficult, too complicated. It's actually quite, coordination-wise, I think it's quite complicated as well, quite complicated to learn and very strict. And I think people felt that it was a little bit too much, so they dropped out. And he was using this Tai Chi Chuan that we're going to start practicing as a preliminary for his own Tai Chi Chuan practice. And so he asked his Tai Chi Chuan teacher, may I start teaching my Western students this form? And he got permission. So this is not just some lineage that popped out of nowhere, but it is fairly new. It's just grassroots. It just keeps growing and spreading. They don't do very much marketing or advertising. They don't really charge very much, but it sort of seems to have spread all over the world now. And the classes that we're running at, there's a Rolling Hills in Novato, and also the Marin YMCA, they're full. So people are loving it. Yep. So anyway, where are we? So Qi is a circulating life force whose existence and properties are the basis for much of Chinese philosophy and medicine. And literally it translates to air or breath, which is also the same as prana we understand in yoga. And I think you may have heard this word in Tibetan Buddhism as well. And Qigong is the Chinese term relating to any physical system using breath control. But I think those of you who practice Qigong probably, I don't know anything about Qigong as the form, but you probably understand it differently to that. And Tai Chi Chuan, as I said, is a martial art of self-defense. developed in China. So there's 6 essential principles. And so is one of them is flowing from the center of the body, which they call the dantian, which is this area here. It's about 2 inches below the belly and a couple of inches in. So, you know, we also talk about this in the more esoteric practices of Tibetan Buddhism as well. Softness and continuity. So if any of you have been swimming, you know when you've seen a beautiful dancer, so you don't just do a movement and stop and start another movement. You try and keep the movements flowing. And the reason for this is because we are moving energy. And you'll see in a minute, I find this next slide is going to be interesting. So they talk about yinning and yanging. Well, it's a bit of a strange term to me, but it's basically talking about weight shift. And so we'll do all these principles in a minute. And then circularity. So nature flows in patterns, circles, as we know that. And polarity. So yin and yang energy. So you can actually just for a moment, just rub your hands together like this. And then so what are you feeling? There's like nothing, but there's actually something. And you know when you get too close to someone, you know they're there. We have this personal space, right? So you know when like you just did then. Sorry, what's your name? Leanne. So Leanne put her hand on Diane's shoulder, and they're obviously friends. So Diane didn't have a huge amount of personal space around Leanne. But if you were a stranger, it may have been different. You may have turned around sooner. Maybe as soon as she lifted her hand up. Okay, and of course you all know the yin and yang symbol, and it's like the balance of life. Exists. They say, the Chinese say it exists in everything. So both the yin and the yang carry the seeds of the other, embodies duality, paradox, unity, in diversity, change, and harmony. Okay, so I won't go too much into that. I want to get started. And then we've all heard about in Tibetan Buddhism, the Sushumna, the central channel. So there's a little bit, this looks to me like Linda has, this is more in the Ayurveda and yoga system. But you do get an idea of the circulation of energy around the body and in the body. And then the same here. They talk about the electromagnetic field of the heart. Again, this is Ayurveda. And the torus field. I'll let you guys read about this later. I personally don't know terribly much about this. So the first 5 movements that we're going to learn today are preliminaries. It's rocking motion, bird flaps its wings, around the platter variation, and bass drum. We'll see how far we get. Actually, these 2 are preliminaries, rocking motion and bird. But first of all, I want you to experience these principles. Okay, the first one is flowing from the center of the body. So everybody stand up. I'm going to take this off so you can see me a little bit better. Oh, of course. Okay, thank you. It's the internet not letting me stop the screen share. There we go. Yep. And we won't need it. All right. So the first one of these is flowing from the center of the body. And I want to see you people here. Time. There we go. Oh, I'm only seeing one. So when we get moving, you guys on Zoom, I'd love to be able to see you. So if you could put your cameras on, that would be really helpful. Thank you. Okay, there's one, Nanette. Nice to see you. Okay. All right, so the first one is flowing from the center of the body. So this essentially means, so you imagine you have, I don't know, a rod through your belly, or, you know, like you've got something tied around your waist, like a dressing gown cord. And so just imagine you're moving not from your hips or your shoulders or from your head, but you just keep your knees slightly bent about a hip's width apart. So this is where we'll start, and just kind of just relax here. Bring your hands back to your belly. They call this a dantian. Hard to move, hard to feel. So just move backwards and forwards on your feet. So the soles of the feet, heels of the feet, all the way through the foot. There you go. Teresa's got it. Now, so when you move from the back to the front, it's the weight shift that actually shifts the feet. So the weight shift enables your heels to come off the ground. The weight shift back enables your toes to come off the ground. And all the while, you're not moving from your hips or your shoulders, you're moving from here. So you're nice and solid. This is actually very grounding. So if you find that when you're doing any kind of practice, you start to space out, bring your attention back to the soles of your feet. They have a saying in Tai Chi Chuan called all dimes down. So they're saying that you imagine you have 4 dimes, 2 here, 2 here. So if you're kind of rolling your feet in or rolling your feet out, just try that for a moment. Just roll the feet around. And then come back to center. Feel the pressure of the little toe on the ground, and then the big toe, and then the heels. Okay. So one of the movements in Tai Chi Chuan is just, they move backwards and forwards, side to side, and then there's some up and down. Okay. All right, so that's moving from the center. Softness and continuity. So we're going to start in a pause position. So the pause position is your feet are at about a 45-degree angle. It's not a turnout like ballet, and a little bit of distance apart. And so all the time you're moving, make sure your knees are over your hips. Sorry, toes. Wrong part of the body. Okay. So we start in what's called a pause position. So your hands are about, I guess, a hip's width apart, and relax your shoulders. And I might come around, and as best you can. So, you know, this may not be available to everyone. So we're just kind of pressing down the water energy of the kidneys. So this is this position is where everybody comes to at the end of each movement. So this is called pause position. All right. So now shift to your right. I'm doing opposite to you. And then straighten your left foot. So we'll do that again. Well done, everyone. Try again. Let's go back to the beginning. How's everyone on Zoom doing? Can you see what I'm doing? Can you see me? Yes? Okay, good. All right. So shift your weight to your right foot. Sorry. There you go. Just release that left foot and then make them parallel. Okay. And we're going to start rocking motion. All right. I don't know about these roads. All right. Okay. You see my knees? I've got my special yoga pants, whatever. Okay. So we're here. So now we start. Imagine you're moving through thick, heavy air. And you just bring it, like, you know, when you're in a swimming pool. And then just allow, okay, and breathe. And just, let's just do this for a bit. So just very gently. So try not to bring your hands any higher than your shoulders. There we go, perfect. And just allow your weight to go back to the heels when the hands are down. And then come back up again. And just imagine you're moving, imagine you're in a swimming pool. You're just standing, just moving your hands through water. Then the way to have your eyes, this is an open-eyed meditation, like Qigong. Have your eyes at about 10 feet away. And defocused. So you're not looking at anyone, just worrying about yourself. And try and stay with everybody's rhythm. So try and follow my rhythm.
Okay, can you say what your breath is doing?
There's no specific breath, just breathe. So there's no specific instructions for breathing. All I would suggest is that quite frequently I notice I'm holding my breath when I'm doing this. So I would suggest you try and breathe just normally. So I think Justin Stone never gave any instructions for breathing. Although there are some people in the community who want to introduce breath. So, okay, everyone, just keep going. We're just going to do this for a while. Now, I want to just address the hands. Try and everybody keep into the same, keep with your neighbor. So what we're moving here is energy. So when everybody's moving together, you get a real sense of settling and peace. So now relax your hands. Try not have the hands be doing the work. Just allow your hands. There you go. So when you come down, just bend your knees. Bend your knees. Now to close, shift your weight a little bit to the right. Move that left foot out and then just bring the right foot in. And there we go. And then you bring the heart fire down to meet the water of the kidneys. And this is called, and they say come to a graceful conclusion. And this is called pause position. Okay. So just shake out a minute. How does that feel for you? Have any of you done anything like this before? No, you're doing really well. I want to do this one again. And but first of all, I am going to do something that we do at the YMCA to keep everybody warm. So we call this Tarzan. I don't know why. Okay. Just bring your hands up and put them into a fist. Tight, 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 tight. And up on the outside of the leg. Pat your back. Up here, down one arm. Cross your chest. Down the other arm. Cross your chest. And ah. And then ah. I think I didn't do it all correct. Okay, start again. All right. The outside of the leg, the back, the chest, down one arm, across the chest, down the other arm. Oh, then just a little bit on the face. Oh, what's my a little bit on the face, and then the head, and then okay. Shake it out. How's everyone doing over there? I can only see 2 people. All right. We're going to do this again. So we're starting in our pause position. And normally we would do this in a circle. So if we can work out the camera, so we can do this in a circle. All right, so you guys come and be in a circle because I think it makes it a little bit easier. Sorry, my road's a little bit ridiculous. It makes it a little bit easier to move. And I'll just stay here.
Just want to get your feet.
Oh, good.
So people can see what
Thanks,
your feet
Teresa.
are doing.
Okay, can you see me? So you come and join too, Isabella. Isabella's had a very stressful morning. She needs to relax. Okay. Okay, see, this is better, right? Okay, all right. So come into a pause position and shift your weight. Release the left foot. So listen to what I'm saying. Don't copy me because some of you guys are opposite. Isabel, can you come stand here? No, don't touch that. Oh, okay. So you're going to stop working right now and you're going to come sit next to me. Okay, so just follow me. The rest of you, no, you're too close to him. Okay. We're good. Isabella, come here. Stay, please, and please relax, okay? All right, you can work the second half.
Okay.
I want you to do this now. Okay, so those of you just listen to my voice. Don't watch me for those of you who are opposite. Okay, so we're just in a nice, comfortable pause position. Shift, release the left foot, make it parallel, bring the right foot in to match. And then we just start. Okay. We may not get past this first 1 or 2 preliminaries this morning. See how much easier this is? So some of you are bringing your hands higher than your shoulders. So just try and keep your hands a little bit lower because what happens is once you move your hands above your shoulders, they start to go up like this. Everyone try and stay in the same rhythm with everyone else. Just breathe normally. We do about between 6 and 9 movements. And then when I'm talking, I often lose count. So you might hear me go, okay, that'll be the last one. Okay. So we'll just do one more here. And we'll come back, release your right foot, 45-degree angle, and bring the left foot in to meet it. And then bring your hands up. Bring the heart fire down to meet the water of the kidneys. So you can tell Teresa's done some energy work because I can see it. Okay, so now this one is bird flaps its wings. So just, we start like this. So you're holding this thing. Maybe you are holding a chicken or a bird or something in between your hands very gently. So it's not nothing, but it is something. And relax your shoulders. I just noticed mine were hiked up. So as we bend, we just release. That's it. And then bring your hands in and release. It's kind of a gentle flick. It's not a flick, but it kind of is. And then bend. And then you just, it's almost like you're going, come here, come here. You are moving the wrist. So let's go back here. 3. And then bring back again. Okay, let's just do that again. And 1. Bring back the energy. And 2. And then on the third one, you rotate the wrists. And it's not done with the fingers. Yeah, that's it. Try again. And 1. And 2. And then just, I'm going to do We normally just do 3, but I want to see you guys. We're doing really well. And then just bring the hand up not too much of a flourish, and then just push the energy back down, and you're back in the pause position. Okay, you can shake that out. How is that for everyone?
Could you say a little bit more about the wrists, your fingers?
Yes. Okay. So what we have a tendency to do, and I see a lot of people doing, is using their hands, using their fingers. So the fingers are not, just move the wrist like this without moving the fingers. So one of the things that I did, I damaged my wrist quite severely, hours and hours on the computer. Years and years of playing the piano, my thumb joints went, my wrists went. So, you know, it's, I was offered salvaging surgery, which didn't like the idea of that. So, but I am finding, you know, if you do this practice every day, which I don't do it every day, but if I was to do it every day, I would probably find benefit. But I am finding benefit. I am actually now able, the other day I was able to do a plank using my wrists. And I was like, well, this is very interesting. I'm doing quite a few different other things too. Swimming, I think, helps a bit. But so just make it come from the wrist. Okay, let's go like this. Hold this hand. Yeah, don't be too rough with yourself. Hold the other hand and just allow your wrist to go backwards and forwards. Yeah. All right. So now let's go back again to pause position, and then just a little bird, just the wing. And it's like your wrists are leaning. Okay, let's just do it one more time. Sorry.
I'm making my wrist go the wrong way because I'm opposite you.
So you bringing them, it's just like, come on, come hither. Okay. Okay, let's just do this. We'll do this one more time. Just two, very slow. Let's do it again. And then just, there we go. Okay, let's just check it out. How are you all feeling? It's kind of calming, isn't it? It's beautiful, and it's so simple. So I've been doing this now. I was certified as a teacher in October, and I've been doing this now probably for about over 2 years. I don't seem to get bored, which I find interesting. So this is a wonderful addition to your meditation practice, because if you're finding you can't sit still or your mind is very disturbed, you can actually get up and do something. And sometimes sitting still and meditating isn't the best thing for certain states of mind. Sometimes you can get more agitated. Like if you go into single pointed concentration and you're ruminating about something, that's where your mind's going to go. So sometimes it's best to find another way of meditating if your mind's in a very, very agitated state. Breathing and breath is also an excellent way to control the mind. And we'll do a bit of that in the next session as well. What's going on over here? Oh, does it? It's not low battery though. It's your computer. Okay, so we are getting a little bit, I want to maybe teach you one more. So we've looked at focusing on the soles of the feet, we've looked at circularity, and we've looked at polarity. So we've done some of the main principles. And I think what I want to do now is this next one, which is around the platter. Oh, this might be a little bit confusing. So I'm going to turn this way. So the people on Zoom will see the back of me and you will see the back of me. But what I'm doing is, so you see the front of me to start with. You're in this pause position, right? You put your left foot out and bring your hands up about chest height. Let's do that again. Shift the weight to the right foot, put the left heel out and bring your hands up as if you're on a platter. So come back again. Shift the weight to the right, the left. Now you're moving forward. Remember I talked in the beginning about moving from the center? You're moving from the center. So imagine someone's holding you this way. You're not moving from the hips or the shoulders. So you move from the center and you're just tracing your fingers around a platter. Bring the weight back. Shift the weight forward. Bring the weight back. Shift it. You're going opposite to us, Teresa. Yeah. The arms go around to the left, to the right. Yeah. Now bend your knee, Teresa. Move forward. That's it. Front knee. Keep moving from the center. You're just moving your hands, not your shoulders. Keep your eyes facing forward. You guys are doing pretty well. First time. Okay, now when you make a weight shift to come back, put all of the weight on the back foot. And then you just stand up. You just release that other foot as best you can. Depends on what your balance is. Okay, I'm going to turn around. I want to make sure, has everyone on Zoom got it? Could you see that, everyone on Zoom? Yeah, okay. I'm going to turn around. You're going to follow me this time with my, oh, there we go. You can see. So shift the weight to the left and just right foot forward and then move. Again, shift all the weight to the back foot and just release the right foot and then come into pause position. How do you guys do? Good? Okay, good.
Very good for balance.
It is.
Balance is one of
Okay. So then what I would suggest for you, Teresa, don't step out so far. You don't have to step out far. So if you've had any movement or dance experience, you think stepping out like that is what you're going to do. So now what do I have to do to get back? So you can step out about a foot, no more than a foot. And then make sure your feet are about a hip's width apart. Because if you're like this, also your balance is going to be off. So you give yourself space. So let's just try that. Don't make a big step, just a little step. And see how balanced you are, and then just move backwards and forwards like this. So much easier, right? You could even go a little wider. Yeah. And then as you get more balanced, you can come back again. Come back to the center. So the other thing that would be helpful, I'm going to suggest we do before we move into the meditation section. Just allow your heel, you're not lifting the heel up from the back. It's the weight shift that is pulling the heel away. So you only need about a credit card's width underneath that back foot. So let's just keep moving backwards and forwards. So some of you are more flexible than others. So if you're very, I've always been very flexible. So for me, I could just move backwards and forwards. My heel won't come off the ground because I just have flexibility there. But some people are a little bit tighter. So your heel's going to come off. But so what you want to try and do is just put a bit of length in the back of the leg. And again, we're shifting from here and we want to feel a full, as much as possible, a full weight shift. Enough so that you could actually just lift that foot off the ground. Don't try it if you don't think you can make it without falling over. There's no falling over here in Medicine Buddha. This is too far to Dominican hospital. So go back, just very gently rock it. And you know, you can practice this in the supermarket. You can just sit there and go like this. No one knows what you're doing. Okay, shake it out. And then let's just do the other foot. And just heel. So you're just kind of, also the front foot is kind of relaxed. It's not, I've had terrible difficulty myself trying not to keep my toes active. So we're trying to keep our toes and our fingers fairly relaxed, or in a way where they're not the ones that are doing the work. And I think as we get older, a lot of us notice we've got stuff going on in our fingers, arthritis, and we're using them to probably more than we need to. So anyway, let's just, you can maybe put your hands on your hips. So just feel that weight shift backwards and forwards. And without even using the arms, this feels quite nice. You know, it's why they rock babies, I guess. But even though we've just done preliminaries today, I can already feel in the room, everybody's just kind of, the energy is very cohesive and it's quite settled. So it's, and we've only been doing this for like half an hour. So what we've done today is some forward and back. So next time we meet, we'll do side to side. So at the end of each session, they have this thing called cosmic consciousness. So we're going to do that today. I'm going to give you guys a 5-minute break, but we'll close with, put your left heel in this little socket of your right ankle. And then you bring your left hand closest to the heart. Now, I don't know why, but the left hand is closest to the heart. The right hand on top, and the elbows as much as you can without lifting up your shoulders. Just relax your shoulders. And then, yeah, there we go. And then in front of you, yeah. And just thumbs relaxed. I'm always doing this with my thumbs. I'm not attention. And then you just kind of, your knees are bent. And so you've got your weight equally on both, on your kind of toe pads equally, not like this. And then just gaze through those fingers. So some teachers will have us do this for like 5 minutes. It depends on your balance. It's just a means of closing. Yes, that left heel is just in that little funny bone that's there. Yeah, you've got it. That's it. Okay, and then you kind of close like this. And then you just kind of namaste yourself, just like as a dedication for your own practice, for everybody else in the room. for the people who teach this, and of course, yeah, to your own practice, your own inner wisdom. So now, if any of you would like to get a drink or go to the bathroom, please do so now. I'd like to start again at 5 after 10 or 10 or just in a few minutes. If you don't want to have a break, we can keep going. And Isabella can go back to work now. Okay, all right. You're sweating? Good. Oh yeah, it is getting warm here. Okay. Oh, good, my pleasure. All right, everyone. Staying. Oh. Isabella Lynette said she could hear but didn't have any video. Oh, okay, so she's good now? Okay. So what do I want to ask the people on Zoom, and also you here, those of you who haven't gone and taken a break? One of the things that Romy wanted was to make this sort of a venue where people could kind of come in and ask questions or say what it was that you wanted to learn. If you don't really know, you came here interested in the Tai Chi Chair and harmonizing the body and the mind. Okay, so we're just going to keep doing that. Is there anyone missing? Is there another person? You're all here. What I'd like to start with today is, because you mentioned the breath, Teresa, there is a breathing technique that the lamas use, or not the lamas, more esoteric practices. It's a preliminary for the more esoteric practices. And it is called 9-round breathing. And I would like to do it the way Lama Yeshe taught it. It is taught differently by different people, but this is the way Lama Yeshe taught it. So again, we're going to have a left-right issue. So listen to my words. Okay. But before we start, we'll do like maybe 3 or 4 minutes of just single-pointed concentration. And we're going to do this just breathing. So I think we'll just do a settling meditation first. Okay. So you don't have to have your feet cross-legged like mine. I'm just doing it this way because it's comfortable. Actually, my chiropractor, I've got some issue with my hamstring attachments and my sits bones. The chiropractor said she sees the same injury in meditators and dancers. So she doesn't want me sitting cross-legged anymore, but anyways, whatever. That's also one of the reasons I can't come down every weekend, because it actually hurts to drive down there. I have to stop and get out and stretch. But anyway, okay, so for those of you who are sitting with your feet down, have your feet about a hip's width apart. Really try and you can just kind of close your eyes and settle in and try and feel the soles of the feet as we did in the Tai Chi Chair practice. So feel the heel, the side of the foot, and the big toe mound, the little toe mound, and then all your toes. And have your knees about a hip's width apart. For those of you who are sitting cross-legged, if you need, you can put cushions underneath either knee. So now try and have your shoulders aligned with your hips. And imagine your spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light, stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So you're just lengthening your spine. And here's where I would really like you to breathe. And then go to the crown of the head and relax the scalp, the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, and the back of the head, the neck. Allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And take a nice deep breath. And notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. A little bit warmer as you're breathing in, a little bit cooler as you exhale. I'd like to go back to the position of the head. So as much as possible, have your head aligned with your shoulders. And after we've done our 3 or so minutes meditation, I'll explain to you why. I'll show you why. So be aware of any sounds in your environment. For those of you at home, people inside your house, any noises or sounds from outdoors. And here we just have the soft buzzing, the fan for something, and the occasional door banging. So just notice how your conscious mind goes out as soon as you hear a sound. Someone moving in the room, activity in the kitchen. So just allow your mind to go out and explore. And then just bring your mind back to the same place your body is. And allow all the external sounds just kind of fade into the distance. Now notice the thoughts that are rising in your mind. So we've just done our little chi practice, our Tai Chi Chi practice. So our minds are probably a little calmer than when we came in. So we're not starting from ground zero here. But just notice you may have some residue of an email, conversation. You may have to travel. And also for those of you who work here, you have a big event tomorrow. So there's lots to do. So just try and allow those thoughts, watch them, allow them to arise and to abide. And if you wish, you can put them on a nice white fluffy cloud and allow them to float away. And take a step back and observe what's there. So try not to judge what's going on in your mind. It's really excellent just to be able to see what's going on. And Venerable is always talking about you don't fix your car once you're running down the highway and the wheels are falling off. You pay attention to your car. You get it serviced. So we need to pay attention to what's going on in our mind. Not everything in our mind serves us. Not everything in our mind is true. So now I'm assuming most people here are Buddhists. So just bring to mind all the people of your life. So we'll just do a very short equanimity meditation. Bring to mind your loved ones. These people we have these beautiful, profound and deep and supportive relationships with. They could be your best friend, your child, your partner, your parents. And just hold an image of them there. And then bring to mind your strangers. So I guess most people had to drive to get here today. Those of you at home must have been to the shops at some point to get supplies, groceries. So we come across many strangers in our journeys. And then there's those people you don't like. In the Lam Rim, they call it these are the enemy category. I personally feel that's quite a strong word because some people just irritate us. They're not necessarily enemies. But we push these people away. We don't really want to have anything to do with them. We avoid them. So one of the things we need to remember is these relationships could change place at any time. And it may have happened to you. That stranger who became your partner or your best friend. This person you never knew in 2018, all of a sudden, have this amazing relationship. And then due to karma, you'll be sitting in front of someone and all of a sudden, karma finishes. That's it. And that person who was once your friend, all of a sudden you maybe got sick of them. I don't know, something shifted. So due to this impermanent nature of this world that we live in, this samsaric world, things change. So it's always really important to remember that and also not to take for granted these beautiful relationships that we do have. Try to ameliorate those ones that are difficult for us. And maybe not to always think of a stranger as someone you don't really care about. It takes time though. But they're all equal actually in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for this enlightened mind. So we do these meditations and even this Tai Chi chair practice for the benefit of all these beings. I learned of this physics term called quantum entanglement yesterday. It says everything is connected. And the biggest illusion we have is that we're separate. And that a thought that you might have or an action that you might do on this planet impacts the other side of the universe. This is what His Holiness means when he talks about universal responsibility. I never understood why he was saying that. I think this is what he's talking about. So you think every action that I do impacts another, not only around me, but everywhere and beyond. I moved into a little cottage in Fairfax recently, and I noticed that the forest creatures took a while for me to get settled, took a while for me to appreciate that they were there. There's a little bit more of a connectivity between me and the birds and everything else now. But I impacted them when I moved there. So now just settle into a nice, comfortable, back into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Have a little wriggle if you need to. Bring the mind to the breath. everybody. You can relax or you can stay in meditation. I do want to show you something. Mm-mm. Are we live? Yeah? Oh, yeah. I have this spinning ball of something right here. No, I want to share something, except I think the internet's quite slow. I'm force quitting myself.
So this is now breathing through the left nostril. Block your right nostril back. That's it. Breathe right through the left nostril. Exhale right, all your anger.
Breathe in through the left. Exhale through the right, all your anger, bitterness, grudges, jealousy, depression, disappointments, and just breathe it out. And one more time, breathe in through the left, blissful, radiant white light. And breathe out through the right, all of your anger. Now breathe in through both nostrils, beautiful light again. Pause at the top of the breath, and then exhale all your ignorance. You know, and this could be just as simple as really not knowing what's going on, not knowing how to get from A to B. It also, in terms of Buddhist tradition, it means not knowing the way things truly exist, not understanding cause and effect, not understanding this idea of karma. And so breathe in again through both nostrils, light, and exhale all your ignorance. And breathe in again. And exhale. So we'll do another round. It's what's called 9-round breathing. We do 3 sets of 3. So we start again, breathing in through the right nostril, light. Exhale through the right, all your unhealthy attachment, desire. Breathe that out as thick black yucky smoke. Breathe in through the right. And exhale all your attachment. Breathe in through the right. And exhale. And breathe in through the left, light. And then breathe out through the right, all your anger energy. Breathe in through the left, beautiful light. And breathe out your anger, and you may have a beef with someone right now, so just breathe it all out, the conversations, the person, just breathe it out, the delusion around. Breathe in and exhale. Now breathe in through both nostrils, light, and exhale. Breathe in and exhale all your ignorance. Inhale, light, and breathe out all your ignorance as thick black yucky smoke. So when you're breathing in, imagine you're breathing in all the wisdom and enlightened energy of the universe. This is your energy. This is actually who you really are. All this other stuff is just delusion that we've collected on the way. It's stain on the mirror. So one more round, breathing in through the right nostril, light. Exhale through your left, all your attachment energy. And again, breathe in. And exhale all your attachment. And inhale. Exhale attachment. And breathe in through the left. Exhale all your anger. Inhale. And exhale all your anger energy. Now breathe in through both nostrils, light, wisdom energy, and then exhale all your ignorance and all your lack of wisdom. Breathe in. And exhale. Breathe in. And exhale. So now just settle back into your meditation. Have a little wriggle if you need to. And we'll just do another 3 or 4 minutes of single point of meditation, focusing on the breath. Everyone just relax. So when you're ready, bring your mind back into the room. Open your eyes. Wriggle your fingers and toes if you need to. Take a nice deep breath. I think I lost these three over here. So traditionally in the Buddhist world, we just make a dedication. It's almost like just wraps everything up. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the creative energy that we have generated today to all those people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. And just wish for a long life for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation is how they talk about it, and for all your own personal teachers. And, you know, we have very precious Lama coming tomorrow who had a very serious accident when he was in his 20s. So he has this limp. So make a very special, strong request in your heart for Ling Rinpoche to live long. He's now the emissary for His Holiness. He's going around in some cases in place for His Holiness because His Holiness can't travel so much anymore. So he's a very important Lama in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. But I want to tell you one story about what happened. So those of you who were here for Kadrila, did you all come and do Kadrila's teaching? She's amazing. Anyway, when many years ago, when the day this accident happened, Kadrila, everybody was going to Mongud, anyway, to Drepung Monastery for His Holiness's teaching. So in India, big messy roads with lots of trucks on them. And so Kadrila and her attendants had organized to leave at a certain time. But then all of a sudden, Kadrila was like, we need to leave now. We got to leave now. We got to go. We're going. And they couldn't understand. She was just like, we're leaving now. And they were the first people, I think, to come upon Ling Rinpoche's car accident. So she knew. And Ling Rinpoche, I heard him say at one point that she saved his life. So he lost his main attendant from his previous incarnations. Attendant died in that accident. But so that was an extraordinary connection. I don't know, I just wanted to share that story. But so anyway, Ling Rinpoche is very, very precious, and precious enough for Kadrila to go, we need to go now, and for her to even know about it. So anyway, lots of love, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you for those of you who helped. Thank you, Isabella. Thank you, Teresa. And I don't know your name. Jordan, and Damien. Okay, thank you. I didn't get your name. Carolyn. Okay, Diane. And Leanne. Okay. So now the next few weeks we're going to be on Zoom. So I don't know if you want to come into the Gompa and do it from here, or if you want to Zoom in from home, but just let LMB know what you want to do. And I wanted to do one more session in person, the last one, but I think we had a conflict with the Gompa. Is that correct, Isabella? Or of June? Yeah, I want to just, because I think she's got the last sessions are on Zoom, but I'd like to come down, I think, for the last one. Yeah. So if we can't arrange that particular Sunday, maybe we can arrange another one. Okay. Because I think it would be nice just to consolidate. Okay, everyone. And thank you very much. Lots of love. And look forward to seeing you on Zoom. Okay. Oh, there is Romy. Hi, Romy. Sorry, we got a little bit late. We had some technical issues. So, well, I think they did. Well, I think Sampton wants to come in and do water bowls.